all, it's Nim or Nimicry if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today we're going to be talking about those preliminary patch notes on the precipice of Endwalker, and with that amazing alliteration, I do also want to say that all patch notes are not written in stone, so take these numbers and this information with a slight grain of salt. Additionally, if you like what I do, or you like what the channel does in specific, go on and click subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with everything the channel does. But without further ado, patch notes. So the 6.0 patch notes, this is taken from Lodestone. There's a huge topic there. I'll put a link in the description. You can read it for yourself. But my goal here is to go over this and provide some color commentary as I feel is necessary. And believe me, I always feel it's necessary. So for Endwalker, it is with great pleasure that we present the preliminary patch notes for Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Packed with a multitude of additions and refinements, adventurers of every persuasion are sure to find something to enjoy in this exciting new update. Now, they do say, very clearly, additional features will be implemented in future updates. The raid Pandemonium is scheduled for release in 6.01, and the Treasure Hunt instance, the Excitron 6000, and the raid Pandemonium Savage are scheduled to be released in 6.05. So the new PvP content, Crystal Conflict, is planned for 6.1 or later. And of course, confirm any early access details. Okay, so here we have our table of contents, but we'll go over that a little later. Patch 6.0 contains content that can only be accessed by registering expansion packs for Final Fantasy XIV to your service account. To distinguish between adjustments that are and are not affected by these registration of these expansions, the following annotations will be used throughout the patch notes. So 2.x, these additions and adjustments only require the purchase of Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn and Final Fantasy XIV Heaven's Ward, so important for trial accounts. 4.x, these additions and adjustments require the purchase of registration of Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. 5.x, we have these additions and adjustments require the purchase and registration of Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. And 6.x, these additions and adjustments require the purchase and registration of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. And then, of course, 2x, 4x, 5x, 6x, these additions and adjustments contain elements that may require the purchase and registration of the expansion packs noted above. Okay, so easy little form notation there. Help out with stuff. Just want to make sure you guys understand what's happening. So not everything is going to be exclusively Endwalker content. There will be other things. And then, of course, if you haven't played this game yet, go on, give it a try. So let's start with the playable content. Here we have in 6.x, new cities have been added. Old Charlian. And oh, doesn't it look wonderful? Very scholarly. Rats at Han. I love it. It's like a more vibrant Ul'dah. And I love Ul'dah. Ul'dah is my favorite city. It's where I started as a pugilist. It's where I became a gladiator and a paladin. I love Ul'dah. Plus, the storyline's really cool. And of course, we have new field areas. Labyrinthos. Ooh, very futuristic. That almost reminds me of a very Danganronpa style thing. If anybody here has played V3 Killing Harmony, that right there is wonderful. Thavnar. Okay. Again, everything's very desert themed. I like that. Garlemald. Ooh, we actually get to go to Garlemald. Okay. I can't wait to go to Garlemald. I'm going to have some fun with Xenos. I just want to talk to him. And of course, we have Mare Lamentorium. Ooh. It's like an Asian city. Like almost a living Amarat. And then, of course, additional areas have been admitted to prevent spoilers. Makes sense, of course. I don't want spoilers. Nobody here wants spoilers. New city and field Aetherites have been added. Look at the new Aetherite models. Hey, those look really cool. All right, both of them pretty dope. And of course, the number of Aether currents in all of Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers areas has been reduced. Furthermore, the location of certain Aether currents has been adjusted. So players who met the new Aether current requirement prior to the release of patch 6.0 will unlock the ability to fly in each area. So what they're saying is they're adjusting the amount of... If you already have flying, you're good. Don't worry about it. If you don't have flying yet, it's going to be a little easier for you because some of those Aether currents were in annoying places, granted. But I honestly didn't find it too much tough, to be honest. I didn't. It wasn't too bad. I went in, I did the quests, and I was like, oh, I gotta go here, and then I just figured it out, and it was fine. And I unlock flying usually as soon as I can. And I tend to play this game at a pretty hardcore. Now, for quests. Patch 6.0 introduces myriad quests in addition to the main scenario. As such, there may be cases where the patch notes only cite initial quests in a series or omit quests entirely to prevent spoilers. Encouraged. They encourage players to explore and discover what's new stories and adventures wait. So that all players are able to enjoy the expansion, we kindly ask everyone to please be considerate and do their best to avoid posting spoiler-related content on the official forums, Lodestone, social media, or in videos, as there are players who may start the official launch day or play at their own pace. So, right there, in the actual patch notes, please no spoilers. Please no spoilers. Thank you, Square Enix. Thank you, Final Fantasy XIV. I'm not going to try to use spoilers, or I'll at least tag with something there, and we'll go from there. Because I know I have members of the community and friends that are very excited about the story, and I don't want to ruin it for them. So in 6.0, we have new main scenario quests have been added. So it looks like we see the twins and Kryle. Oh, and some other fun stuff there. No real details, but I'm sure we'll find out. Now, and we also have new side story quests have been added. Side story quests added in patch 6.0 will employ an automatic level adjustment system known as Quest Sync. Quests using this system will have their difficulty and XP rewards adjusted to match your current level. Note, certain side story quests do not use Quest Sync. So we had that system in Shadowbringers, which you can see going around Novarant. And of course, we have role quests have been added. The physical DPS role quests added in patch 6.0 have been divided into two categories, melee and physical ranged DPS. And then, of course, we have the tank, the tank that's the Paladin, Warrior, Dark Knight, Gunbreaker, Shrouded in Peril, and you get that at Razat Han from the Gridania Delegate. Players must progress to a certain point in the Endwalker main scenario. Then you have the melee DPS, which is the Monk, Dragoon, Ninja, Samurai, Reaper. Same thing. This one is at Limsa and Stormclouds Brewing, and you must progress to a certain point in Endwalker. The physical range DPS, your Bard, Machinist, Dancer, Seeds of Disquiet. And again, you get that at the Doman Delegate. These are all in Raditz Al Han, by the way. Magical range DPS are Aching Souls, which is Black Mage, Summoner, Red Mage, and Healer, which is White Mage, Scholar, Astrologian, and Sage. The magical range DPS is the Ishgardian Delegate, and the healer one is the Alamegan Delegate. Of course, the magical range is called Our Aching Souls, and the healer is called Far From Free. Now, it does note that additional quests unlocked upon completing the entirety of the main scenario in all 5 role quest series will be added in a future update. So, just like there were in the Crystarium, how you had role quests, there will be content going forward for the hardcore players who have one of every class already maxed. Or at least one of every class already, or one of every role maxed. And we have the Studium deliveries have been added, much like the Crystarium deliveries. That's a very cool thing, and it will provide for a meta. So each Disciple of Hand or Land will be able to progress through one of 5 series of quests associated with the different faculties in the Studium. Completing deliveries for the faculty of the Studium will advance the story of that particular faculty. Note, because Studium delivery quest rewards include Crafter scripts and Gatherer scripts, players must first complete the quest Inscrutable Taste before undertaking deliveries. So again, pretty simple, and we've already seen this system in Shadowbringers. It's great. There's no reason to change a system that's not broken. I absolutely recommend it. And then, of course, we have the faculty for Disciple of Hand or Land, level 80. Then players must progress to a certain point in the main scenario and have completed the quest Inscrutable Tastes. Then we have the Faculty of Archaeology, which is Blacksmith, Armor, Goldsmith, and your Professor Rurusha's new friend. And that, of course, is you must first complete the faculty quest. Then we have the Faculty of Astronomy, which is Carpenter, Leatherworker, Weaver, and you're in search of an azure star. The Faculty of Medicine, the Alchemist or Culinarian, Perfectly Awful is the quest. Faculty of Anthropology, Minor Botanist. Your quest will be Cultured Pursuits. And the Faculty of Aetherology, the Fisher. And, of course, you must fear the thesis. Fear it! And, of course, additional quests will be unlocked upon completing the entirety of the main scenario and all 5 Studium delivery quest series. So, same thing, it's going to be the same meta. It's a good meta. Of course, it doesn't say what it is, and that's fine, no reason to. Now, we also have certain instance battles will now display character portraits alongside battle dialogue widget. So, character portraits have only been added into instance battles appearing in the main scenario of Endwalker. They can be disabled by unchecking the Display Character Portraits with Battle Dialogue widget option under the HUD tab of the UI settings in the character configuration menu. So if you find that kind of immersion breaking, you can just turn it off. Simple enough. Now, in 2X and 4X, we have, when viewing cutscenes in the Unending Journey, class quests, and job quests, up to and including those introduced in the 4.x patches, will require players to change to the relevant class or job. So when viewing cutscenes for Disciple of War or Magic classes, they may also be viewed when playing as the corresponding job. Okay, makes a little sense there. Leaves. So we have new tradecraft and fieldcraft leaves have been added, which makes sense. New areas, higher level cap. Of course, there's going to be new leaves. And then, of course, experience points rewarded when using a class at level 80 or above to complete a leave with a level requirement below 80 have been capped at 1,000. So that's just, I don't know why they made that change particularly, but there's got to be a reason. Maybe they don't want people farming old leaves to level, even though there's so much experience that you kind of need. You kind of need to do at least the lowest tier, the current leaves, to make it viable. But hey, you know, who am I to tell you how to play? Of course, we have our 2, 4, and 5x. With consideration for the inflation of gil and the potential rewards for using a single leave allowance, the following adjustments have been made. The experience points and gil reward for tradecraft leaves that only allow a single turn-in have been increased. The experience points and gil reward for tradecraft leaves that allow multiple turn-ins have been reduced. Also, the experience points and gil reward for Fisher Fieldcraft leaves that only allow for a single turn-in have been increased. And the experience points and gil reward for Fisher Fieldcraft leaves that allow for multiple turn-ins have been reduced. Now, I noticed they only say Fisher there. They don't talk about Miner or Botanist. So, that's an interesting thing. I wonder why that is. Now, that being said, you do have to often spend a resource for Fisher to make it worthwhile because, you know, bait. But that's interesting. And of course, as a note, it says, because the downscaling of in-game values coincides with adjustments to rewards, it is not possible to make a direct comparison of rewards before and after the release of patch 6.0. So I like that they included that because people are always going to ask, well, how much increased? How much decrease? And sadly, we can't really see numbers. Now, I'm sure the players will extrapolate things. I'm sure the Balanced Discord will be all over it. I'm sure crafting Discords will be all over it. But for now, keep that in mind. Single turn-ins, experience gil has increased. Multiple turn-ins, experience gil decreased. Keep that in mind, and that will actually change up the meta on a leveling path. So we'll see where we land. Now, of course, in 4x, 5x, when undertaking Fisher Fieldcraft leaves that require spearfishing, the number of fish required for completion has been increased. Okay, well, that's an interesting thing. Honestly, I didn't find spearfishing all that difficult, but then again, I only just leveled it and went, so I didn't really delve deep into the fishing. I'm sure somebody's out there is gonna be like, "Man, it was terrible. This is hard." But I mean, I just fish. I level it, I do the quests, I get the gathering, and then I'm done. Now for fates. So in 6, new fates have been added. Players will receive bicolored gemstones upon completing fates in 6.0 areas. This currency can be exchanged with the gemstone trader NPC for various goods. Furthermore, as you continue to complete fates in these new areas, gemstone traders will offer a wider selection of items. To view your progress in each area, select the shared fate under the travel menu, under travel in the main menu. So okay, so we see this happening here. As it was in Shadowbringers. You do your first rank, then your second rank, and go from there. Now, what I'm curious is, it says right here, it says 2 out of 6. So I wonder if instead of 10, it's 6 now. So that would be really, really nice. Instead of having to do, 10 fates plus another 60 to unlock the full vendor, to do what? You figure 6 and then another 6, you only have to do 42. Which is the answer to everything, and seeing as how we're in an academic land, one might think you want to go with the answer to everything. So now we have the treasure hunt. So for 5 and 6, the following additions and adjustments have been made to the treasure hunt maps. Almas skin treasure maps and Kumbra Baskin treasure maps have been added. Rewards for glider skin treasure maps and zoner skin treasure maps have been adjusted. Algan tomestones rewarded for completion of treasure maps introduced prior to patch 6.0 have been changed from Algan Tomestones of Revelation and Algan Tomestones of Allegory to Algan Tomestones of Poetics. Starting in patch 6.05, there will be a chance for a teleportation portal to appear when completing the Kumra Baskin treasure maps. So keep in mind, you won't have a chance to get the new treasure instance until patch 6.05. That being said, also, when I think about the adjustment, it makes sense. You're obviously gonna turn Allegory and Revelation into Poetics, because that's how it works. All currencies get rolled into, boom, Poetics. Then, of course, in 5, the dungeons of Laigia and the shifting oblats of Laigia will now be level synced, adjusting players to level 80. Okay, so you still have access to get those particular dungeons in case you ever, for your Wondrous Tales, or if you just want to farm to get perhaps the Golden Talos or Calf Skin or something like that, but you're now level synced. Simple enough. Now, in Grand and Free Company, 6 additional items will now be accepted for supply and provisioning missions, which makes perfect sense. You're going to get new items. They accept the new items. Yay, everybody's happy. Of course, Reaper and Sage symbols have been added to company crests. Oh, I like that. We also have new craftable items have been added to the company workshop. Makes sense as you're leveling your Reaper and Sage. And the following company actions have been replaced with new actions. Before Back on Your Feet 1 and 2 have now been replaced with Fleet-Footed 1 and 2. Housing. Everybody's important with housing. Following the successful restoration of the firmament, a new housing district, Imperium, has been added in Ishgard. By completing the following quest, players will be able to teleport to the residential district directly via the Aethernet in Foundation. Now, the quest is, of course, ascending to Imperium. Pretty easy. Now, I do want to mention, please note that players will only be able to visit the first ward of Imperium upon the release of patch 6.0. The sale of plots and apartments is scheduled to begin in patch 6.1. So if you're planning on getting a house in Imperium, save that gil. Keep an eye out for 6.1. Now, in preparation for the lottery sale system scheduled to be implemented in patch 6.1, it will no longer be possible to relocate estate to plots of land that are not yet ready for purchase. They're trying to cut that off. Now, of course, furnishings from the Final Fantasy XIV Furnishing Design Contest have been added. You can learn more there. Of course, I'll have a link to this particular article in the description below. Entries that did not win have also been selected to serve as new furnishings. Oh, look at that. A little fat cat rug and some other things. These are great. Of course, you have new furnishings that have been added. That's really nice. I like that. A harp. Of course, crafting facility furnishings can now be used by crafting classes up to level 80. I like that. And then we have our striking dummies. In accordance to the increased character level cap, level 90 Thavnavarian striking dummies have been added. And we have new orchestron rolls have been added. New aquarium fish have been added, so feel free to go collect your music and collect your fish. And when viewing the aquarium fish window, fish will now be separated into tabs according to size. Nice. We have a new seed for flower pots have been added. It's the Tritelia seeds, so keep that in mind. You can purchase that at a whole bunch of different places, from Mist, to Lavender Beds, to Goblet, Shirogane, Imperium, Apartments, and New Gridania. Now, the Gold Saucer, one of my favorite places. Of course, new prizes are available for purchase using MGP, and the following additions have been made to Triple Triad. New cards have been added. New NPC opponents for Triple Triad have been added. Players can now engage in Triple Triad matches in new areas. So far, not bad. Now with some miscellaneous things. Players can now select male Viera when creating a character. So Bun Boys are a go. Regardless of your progression in the main scenario, male Viera will now be selectable when creating new characters, editing your character's appearance using a Fantasia, or hiring a retainer. So Bun Boys are a go. We have new hairstyle options added for female Viera. And of course, new Throthgar hairstyles are scheduled to be added in patch 6.1. So your big hulking boy cats, they've got something coming too. We have a new face option for Midlander here. I think I happen to play a Midlander here, but I clicked randomize many years ago and have never had an inclination to change. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the trust system. This is very, very important. Estinian has been added as a new avatar NPC. He will become available after progressing to a certain point in the main scenario. Note, Estinian cannot accompany players into Shadowbringers dungeons. He just didn't go to the first. In accordance with the increased character level cap, the level cap for avatar NPCs has also been increased. By progressing through the main scenario, avatar NPCs can reach a maximum level of 90. The requirements for unlocking scenario mode have been removed. Both avatar and scenario mode will become available upon completing the main scenario quest, Shadowbringers. The amount of experience points required for avatars to gain levels will be reduced in accordance with downscaling of other in-game values. Now, the amount of experience points rewarded for completing a dungeon will also be adjusted. Note, because of the database must be overwritten to implement the downscaling of values, any experience points accumulated between the levels prior to the release of patch 6.0 will be reset to 0. Now, here's the thing I want to mention that is that I like that the amount is going to be reduced, because it always seemed like I had to run a dungeon 4 or 5 times for each NPC in order to level it, and it seemed like a lot of work because I'm getting less reward out of it. In addition, I have to do it multiple times, as opposed to if I go with my free company, be like, hey guys, let's smash this dungeon real quick. I'll tank, Sumi will heal, other people will be there, and they'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to go pull stuff, and they're just going to be like, and then we pick up loot, and it's fantastic. So I'm glad that they're making the trust system just a little bit faster. And I don't want to be down on the trust system. I like the trust system, especially for people who enjoy a more solo experience, but still want to actually be able to complete the story. So, go trust system, go. The following additions and adjustments have been made to Wondrous Tales. Prizes available in exchange for Chloe's Gold Certificates of Commendation, Chloe's Silver Certificates of Commendation, and Chloe's Bronze Certificate of Commendation have been adjusted. The following duties have been added as objectives for Wondrous Tales. These duties will not affect Wondrous Tales in your possession prior to reaching level 90 with at least one Disciple of War or Magic. The Tower at Paradigm's Breach, Minstrel's Ballad Hades Elegy, Cinder Drift Extreme, Memoria Misery Extreme, the Seat of Sacrifice Extreme, Castrum Marianum Extreme, the Cloud Deck Extreme, and level 81 to 90 dungeons. Endwalker entries have been added to the Sightseeing log, and the following changes have been made to the Challenge log. New categories have been added. A Boon from Nature, successfully trigger the Gatherer's Boon effect while gathering items, comparable to your level 30 times. Catch of the Day, catch 10 large-sized fish. Spear no effort, spear 20 large-sized fish. Give them what they want. 1, complete 5 supply provisioning missions. Give them what they want. 2, complete 10 supply and provisioning missions. And the following categories were removed. Gathering Storm HQ, Hooked on a Reeling HQ, Spear Me HQ, Give them what they want, and Give them what they want HQ. Okay, so it seems like they're removing high quality, so that's something there. Keep those in mind if you are like me and you run the challenge log fairly religiously, just in order to get that extra gil. It builds up over time, and it's quite effective at leveling. Skywatcher NPCs have been added to new areas. Skywatcher NPCs in 5.0 and previous areas will also be able to offer weather forecasts in the 6.0 areas. However, special requirements must be met for certain locations. Now we're on to the battle system. The level cap for all Disciples of War and Magic has been raised to 90. We're almost there. Of course, the Reaper and Sage jobs have been added. These jobs have no corresponding classes and begin at level 70. The Reaper is a melee DPS, and it can be unlocked by completing the following quest. Let's see here. There we are. The Killer Instinct. Now you get that at Ul'dah from a flustered attendant. And then, probably because he's having to deal with edgy people all day, you have the Sage as a healer. The Sage can be unlocked by completing the following quest. Sage's Path. And you get that in Limsa Lominsa. In accordance with the addition of these new jobs, gear for the Reaper and Sage has been added to the rewards for certain duties and will now be sold by merchant NPCs. Please note, however, that the Reaper and Sage cannot be used in the Hall of Novice, nor can they receive first-time completion bonus from Guildhest. Do I agree with that last part? Not really, but whatever. It's like 10,000 extra XP. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Then, of course, we have our new job actions, which you can see if you want to. And those have been up for a while. Actions and traits have been adjusted. The sick pet action has been removed. The time frame which players must execute actions to continue or complete combos has been extended. It's always nice. The following additions and adjustments have been made to limit breaks. Use of limit breaks will no longer cancel combo actions. Yes! Oh, yes. Yes. And the range and effect for the healer limit break has been increased from 30 to 50 yalms. Perfect. Yalm, in this case, equals yard. Now, in order to curb the inflation of game data, such as HP and damage, values used in battle calculations have been downscaled. As a result of this change, various battle-related system values, including gear and materia attributes, as well as the potency of meals and medicine, will be reduced accordingly. Please note, however, these changes will have little to no effect on game balance. And you know what? I'm going to believe that. This game seems to be more balanced than others. Now, some people will always be like, but my class isn't that good. It's fine. It's fine. And I do want to listen to them, because here's the thing. I play a paladin, play a tank, right? That's my whole gig. I love being a paladin. I mean, come on. I love being a paladin. My drinking stein. So while damage is important for me, survivability is also important for me, and I'd like to do as much damage as possible, but it's not as important for me to do it as it would be for, say, a DPS. Now, player attributes have been adjusted as follows. Weapon damage will be adjusted to achieve parity between the physical and magic damage attributes of weapons at the same level. Now, in accordance with this change, action potencies will be adjusted, so keep in mind, numbers are going to change. We went over those in the class preview videos. you can always find that stuff out there. The effect of determination on damage dealt has been increased, so the fact they're giving determination more priority is very important. And the determination and piety attributes of certain low-level gear have been adjusted to match values of their critical hit and direct hit attributes. This change in values is minor and will not affect game balance. Now, here's the thing. Determination is going to be it's going to be interesting to see how the balance maths out. Is determination good? Because you could have, this could be the new stat that everybody wants. Do I think it's going to be? No. But do I think that it's going to have an increased effect and be perhaps, maybe not meta, but not a drag? Yeah, I think you can do that. The effect of certain monster and NPC actions have been adjusted. The amount of experience points required to level up a Disciple of War and Magic classes and jobs have been adjusted due to the downscaling of values. In accordance with this change, adjustments have been made to the following. Experience points earned for defeating enemies. Experience points rewarded for completing quests and leave quests. Experience points rewarded for completing duty roulette. Experience points rewarded for completing guild leaves. Experience points rewarded for completing Beast Tribe daily quests. Experience points rewarded for completing daily mark bills. Experience points rewarded for completing challenge log entries. Now, there is a note. Because of the data must be overwritten to implement the downscaling of any values, any experience points accumulated between levels prior to the release of patch 6.0 will be reset to 0. So, watching this, make sure that you're gonna make sure that you don't try not to lose any experience as best you can. Now, you're gonna lose some probably because it's very hard to get like right at 0, but trust me, it's not that big a deal. You'll be fine. You can get there. The Armory Bonus granted from below level 80 has been increased from 50% to 100%. Yes! Again, very player-friendly change. The Armory Bonus is applied to all available Disciple of War and Magic other than your highest level job or class. From level 80 onward, the Armory Bonus is a 50% increase in XP gained from defeating enemies and fate rewards. Perfect. Like that's been increased. Awesome. The status effect True Self has been changed to Indomitable Spirit, and its description has been adjusted. This status effect is applied during instance quest battles wherein players control NPC abilities, and the difficulty has been set to easy or very easy. The effect of the status effect has not changed. Okay, so basically for story role-playing quests, where you actually go through and play as another character, it's going to be easy or very easy, and now you get a chance to actually... they're just going to get you through that a little easier. Some players found the last role-playing quest difficult in Shadowbringers, and okay, sure, let's make it to where everybody can play the game. It's fine. You do it one time, it's over, and you're there for the story at that point. Also, the absolutely astounding music. In accordance with the increased level cap, New World and Preferred World character bonuses now apply to all jobs at level 79 or below. Of course, look for the lodestone for further information regarding bonuses for New Worlds and Preferred Worlds. So if you play on those, you get an experience bonus. It would be nice if they extended it to level 90, but, what are you going to do? New enemies have been added, of course. Oh, let's see. We've got deer, a deer/elk, some type of dragon thing, weird scaly dog, and long moon cactus. All right. I like long moon cactus. I believe in long moon cactus. New dungeons have been added. Oh, don't those look lovely? Now, of course, experience points previously earned from standard dungeon enemies will now be earned from dungeon bosses. Interesting. So that means that I'm no longer going to get experience as I go through a dungeon until I get to a boss. Well, that'll be interesting, and they'll probably have to adjust that as everything is. Excuse me. The items obtained from treasure coffers in the following dungeons have been adjusted. Players will now obtain gear corresponding with the required average item level of each dungeon. So, item level 45 or above, you have Amanpour Keep and the Wanderer's Palace. 48 or above, we have the Haka Manor Hard, Pharaoh Cyrus, and Copperbell Mines Hard. 55 or above is the Lost City of Amanpour, Brayflock's Longstop Hard, and Holly Tolly Hard. 70 or above is the Tamtar Deepcroft Hard, the Stone Vigil Hard, and the Hullbreaker Isle. And then, of course, for 90 and above, we have the Keeper of the Lake, Wanderer's Palace Hard, and Amandor Keep Hard. So, in accordance with the increased level cap, players can now gain experience from level 80 dungeons, trials, and the 5X Alliance raid dungeons. So, your near raids. Awesome. 6 new trials have been added, and they are hidden. Keep that in mind. Not going to get anything else there. Of course, when undertaking the Great Hunt and Great Hunt Extreme, a new visual indication of the Shattering of Rathlow's Tail has been added. It's always useful. More information for the players makes it better. At 5, Unreal Trials have been temporarily disabled. Players may still exchange faux leaves for various rewards. A new Unreal Trial is scheduled to be added in patch 6.1, so keep your eye out for that. A weapon coffer has been added to the following duties. So the Howling Eye hard, Bowl of Embers hard, Whirl Eater extreme, the Af Amphitheater extreme, Thok As Thok extreme, the Minstrel's Ballad Nidhogg Rage, Containment Bay P1T6 extreme, Pull of Tribute extreme, the Jade Stoa extreme, Hell's Kier extreme, the Dancing Plague extreme, Cinder Drift extreme, Castrum Marinum extreme, the Naval hard, Thorn March hard, Dragging Tree extreme, the Limitless Blue extreme, the Minstrel's Ballad Thor's Reign, Containment Bay S1T7 extreme, Containment Bay Z1T9 extreme, the Minstrel's Ballad Shinryo's Domain, the Minstrel's Ballad Tsukiyomi's Pain, the Wreath of Snakes extreme, the Minstrel's Ballad Hades Elegy, the Seed of Sacrifice extreme, and the Cloud Deck extreme. So that's a lot of weapon coffers. Now, note, the weapon received from the weapon coffers is determined by your current job. When opening weapon coffers as a paladin, you will receive both a sword and shield. Now, my friends who do glam, congratulations, that's wonderful. Now, following the introduction of these weapon coffers, the items yielded from desynthing swords and shields obtained from these duties has been adjusted. Swords are now more likely to yield primal weapon crafting materials when desynthesized. Shields, however, will no longer yield primal weapon crafting material. So, since it's guaranteed, they are kind of throttling back, so keep that in mind as you go through the weapon coffer duties, which you'll probably do for Wondrous Tales. The gear obtained from treasure coffers in the following duties has been changed to gear coffers. Binding Coil of Bahamut, the second Coil of Bahamut Savage, Alexander Savage, and Omega Savage. Now notice, there's a note here, accessories found in the Binding Coil of Bahamut, the second Coil of Bahamut Savage, and Alexander Savage will drop directly as per normal. We have players will now receive the power of the Echo in the event of all party members are incapacitated during the following trials. Cloud Deck and the Cloud Deck Extreme. So here we have in the Cloud Deck, each time a player restarts the aforementioned trial, they will be granted 10% Echo Effect boost, which increases each restart up to a maximum of 50%. If a player restarts after battling for less than 3 minutes, they will not be granted this effect. And then, of course, for the Cloud Deck Extreme, same thing, except that it's a 5% Echo Effect, and it increases to a maximum of 25% with the same less than 3 minute restriction, not granting it. Then, of course, we have the Strength of Echo granted in Eden's Promise Savage has been increased. The Echo will take effect upon entering Eden's Promise Savage, increasing players' maximum HP, damage dealt, and healing potency by 20%. Unlike other instances, the Strength of the Echo will not increase in the event of all party members being incapacitated. Now we have the Burning Field. An expansion of Stone, Sky, Sea has been added. The Burning Field offers trials tailored to various high-level duties in which players will be tasked with destroying a level 90 striking dummy. To access the Burning Field, players must first complete the following quest: A Place to Train, got at level 90, and players can now sort an adventure list by class job when undertaking duties in Eureka, Balja, Zadnor, or Deliberatum Regni. We have the weekly restriction on receiving cracked Stella clusters upon clearing the tower at Paradigm's Breach has been removed. We have new elite hunt marks. Of course, let's see, looks like an armored gorilla thing. Shaggy Lion, Princess Flan, that's a Princess Flan, and Glowy Moonflower. Again, I love you, Glowy Moonflower. Players can now hunt regular and elite marks in new areas. So marks defeated in new areas will also yield sacks of nuts, which can be exchanged for various items. Players must first complete the following quest before taking up the hunt. A hunt for specimens, which will happen, and in order to do that, you have to complete Elite and Dangerous and progress to a certain point in the main scenario. You can exchange sacks of nuts with the following NPCs. In Old Charlian, you have Jalaskai, and in Raditz Alhan, you have Willametta. Here we are. Reaper and Sage arms are now available from the following Deep Dungeon vendors. On South Shroud, we Una Kotor, and in the Ruby Sea, the Confederate Custodian. Players can now sort the adventure list by class or job when undertaking duties in Eureka, Baj, Zadnor, or Delubranum Ragne. Now, the error message it displays when attempting to use return while undertaking the duties, the Battle of Castrium Lactis Lior, or the Dalrida, has been adjusted. Now says a confirmation prompt will now display when attempting to abandon the aforementioned duties and return to the Bajan Southern Front or Zadnor. The following additions or adjustments have been made to Delirium Ragne. The maximum waiting time to enter has been set to 10 minutes. Once the time limit has been reached, players will enter the duty even if they have not reached the maximum party size of 24. Parties of less than 24 players will be granted the power of the Echo The strength of the echo is determined by the number of players matched. Your players will result in a stronger echo effect. The aforementioned changes do not apply to Diluvium Ragnae Savage. Now, we have our new Tomestone name. This is very important. Elegant Tomestones of Aphorism have been added. Players can only receive a maximum of 2,000 Tomestones. Moreover, players can only receive Tomestones of Aphorism after reaching level 90 with at least one Disciple of War or Magic class job. There is no weekly limitation on Tomestones of Aphorism. A secondary currency, though, Elegant Tomestones of Astronomy, will be available approximately 4 weeks after the start of the official service for Endwalker. So the following additions have been made to Elegant Tomestones. You can Allegories out, Revelations out, Phantasmagorias out, and they can all be exchanged for Poetics. Keep in mind that Phantasmagoria, if you haven't already exchanged, they will be removed with the release of patch 6.0. And of course, Revelation and Allegory can still be exchanged. They'll probably be removed at a later date. Now, the aforementioned tomestones will no longer be obtainable. All trials and duties where these tomestones could be will now offer Elegant Tomestones of Poetics or Elegant Tomestones of Aphorism instead. Please note that any Elegant Tomestones of Allegory or Elegant Tomestones of Revelation obtained prior to patch 6.0 will not be lost. The NPC Ariana in Revenant's Toll will now give players the option to exchange them for Elegant Tomestones of Poetics. Phantasmagoria has been removed from the game, so don't even worry about that. And of course, the Elegant Tomestones of Poetics may still be obtained from duties up to level 80, as well as certain duty roulettes. Now, there are some additions and adjustments that have been made to the Duty Finder. Category names and duties listed within each have been reorganized. The Undersized Party option has been renamed to Unrestricted Party. The functionality of this option has not changed. So keep that in mind if you're running stuff for your Wondrous Tales. The Shadowbringer duties can now be undertaken using the Unrestricted Party option. Certain duties will now grant the Epic Echo status when undertaken with an Unrestricted Party option enabled. Now, the Epic Echo effect increases player attributes in order to maintain a level of difficulty similar to that experienced before the introduction of downscaling. The strength of this effect varies by duty level. So basically, it's just going to make you seem like you didn't downscale. Simple. Now, the Raid Finder now only lists trials and duties introduced with patch 6.0. However, the Unending Coil Bahamut Ultimate, the Weapons Refined Ultimate, the Epic of Alexander Ultimate can still be accessed via the Raid Finder. The Duty Finder has been adjusted as follows. The duties associated with each duty roulette category have been adjusted. Duty roulette level 50, 60, 70 dungeons and duty roulette level 80 have been combined into duty roulette 50, 60, 70, 80 dungeons. The type and number of Elegant Tomestones received from each daily roulette category has been adjusted. The Expert gives you 80 Tomestones of Aphorism. The duty roulette for 50, 60, 70, 80 dungeons gives you 100 of Poetics and 120 of Aphorism. The Leveling gives you 100 Elegant Tomestones of Aphorism. Trials gives you 60 Elegant Tomestones of Aphorism. Main Scenario, 300 of Poetics and 100 of Aphorism. Alliance Raid, 120 of Poetics, 120 of Aphorism. Normal Raid, 80 Poetics, 60 Aphorism. Mentor, 30 Tomestones of Aphorism. And Frontline, 50 of Aphorism. We then have calculations for experience points earned by Chocobo Companions have been adjusted. We're now down into PvP, where PvP actions for Reaper and Sage have been added. The Feast, Season 20 will end and a pre-season will begin. The top combatants for PvP teams will receive special rewards via the Moogle delivery service. Now, it does note, in order to avoid delays due to congestion and the release of patch 6.0, vouchers are scheduled to be delivered after patch 6.01. We apologize for any inconvenience. I think they meant to say any inconvenience this may cause, and thank you for your understanding. Players finishing Bronze Tier or higher can claim rewards by speaking with the Feast Quartermaster at the Wolves Den Pier. And of course, you can learn more about rewards. Tier rewards for Season 20 must be claimed before the release of patch 6.1. Down to items. The new items have been added. Now, due to the volume of items added with the release of patch 6.0, they will not be listed in the patch notes. Thank you. That is very helpful. I'd have been worried. New recipes have been added. Due to the volume of recipes added with patch 6.0, they won't be listed. Assume everything's getting a bunch of recipes. Certain recipes can now be crafted using quick synthesis. Recipes that allow for quick synthesis do not require the item to be crafted prior to using this feature. That's a change. You used to have to craft the item before you were able to use quick synthesis. Certain items can now be sold, desynthesized, or submitted for expert delivery missions. Perfect. The amount of slots allotted to the main hand and rings tab in the armory chest has been increased to 50. Oh, rings need a whole separate tab, but for now we'll take 50. And of course, the description for items that increase experience points has been adjusted. So you know changes have been made to the effect of these items. Notice they've moved it up from being at the bottom, now at the top, and showing brand new ring. Used to be down below the stats, now it's above the stats. Reaper and Sage have been added to the required jobs for certain gear. Gear for Reaper and Sage can now be obtained from Grinholt in the Tempest. Players must first reach level 80 and complete the level 80 role quests associated with each job before receiving their gear. And of course, if you remember that, you could get some pretty decent gear at level 80, at least for the beginning of Shadowbringers for that one job. Now, too, the sale prices of certain items have changed. The following items' names have changed. The Heavy Allagan Flanchard is to Heavy Allagan Solarettes. Replica Heavy Allagan Flanchard. Replica Heavy Allagan Solarettes. Blades Thigh Boots of Striking. Blades Long Boots of Striking. Blades Thigh Boots of Aiming. Blades Long Boots of Aiming. Blades Thigh Boots of Scouting. Blades Long Boots of Scouting. Pumpkin Cookie. Now Old Pumpkin Cookie. Heaven's Turn Ticket. Heaven's Turn of the Ox Ticket. Okay, simple enough. The following items are no longer classified as unique. We have the Ronkin Ring of Fending, the Ronkin Ring of Slaying, the Ronkin Ring of Aiming, the Ronkin Ring of Healing, the Ronkin Ring of Casting are no longer unique, so you can get those from Poetics. The Augmented Deep Shadow Ring of Fending, the Augmented Deep Shadow Ring of Slaying, the Augmented Deep Shadow Ring of Aiming, the Augmented Deep Shadow Ring of Healing, the Augmented Deep Shadow Ring of Casting. Again, no longer unique. You can buy it for Poetics. I'm going to chop these up a little bit. You have the Crystarium Ring of Fending, Slaying, Aiming, Healing, and Casting. All those are augmented, and they're no longer unique. And then, of course, the Augmented Crypt Lurker's Ring of Fending, Slaying, Aiming, Healing, Casting are no longer unique. Basically, all of your Poetic gear, all of your Tomestone gear that can be augmented are no longer classified as unique with the release of 6.0. A new system has been added to allow players to dye artifact gear after progressing to a certain point in role quests and the main scenario. Perfect. The following items are now dyeable. Weathered Sequence, Weathered Chongo, Weathered Failnaught, Weathered Shadowbringer, Weathered Tristaya, Weathered Meteorologica, Weathered Procon, Weathered Aninus, Weathered Krishna, Weathered Godhands, Weathered Trishula, Weathered Heisei Shorinken, Weathered Formal Hot, Weathered Katvat Naga, Weathered Physica, Weathered Dochikiri Yatsuna, Weathered Lionheart, and Weathered Sirisvata. The following items can now be equipped regardless of gender. That's a long list. Let's tackle it. Spring Straw Hat, Spring Skirt, Thanuvarian Headdress, Thanuvarian Armlets, Thanuvarian Sandals, Housemaid's Apron Dress, Housemaid's Bloomer, Loyal Housemaid's Brim, Loyal Housemaid's Wrist Dresses, Loyal Housemaid's Pumps, Rainbow Justicore, Butler's Jacket, Butler's Slacks, Loyal Butler's Monocle, Loyal Butler's Gloves, Loyal Butler's Gaiters, Spring Dress Shoes, Thananavian Bustier, Thananarian Tights, Housemaid's Brim, Housemaid's Wrist Dresses, Housemaid's Pumps, Loyal Housemaid's Apron Dress, Loyal Housemaid's Bloomers, High House Justicore, Butler's Monocle, Butler's Gloves, Butler's Gaiters, Loyal Butler's Jacket, and Loyal Butler's Slacks. Woo, okay. So if you've ever wanted to be a servant, this is, to roleplay a servant, this is your time. You've got it. You can do it now. In accordance with the downscaling of in-game values, the following battle-related adjustments have been made. Gear attributes have been adjusted, materia attributes have been adjusted, potency of meal and healing items have been adjusted, and potency of meal and healing items below level 50 has been increased. That's nice. Now we are on to the following adjustments have been made to weapons obtained from the Relic Weapon quests. Zodiac, Eureka, and Resistance weapons. Secondary attributes have been adjusted automatically in accordance with downscaling of values, and the animal weapons. All attributes have been reduced due to the downscaling of values. As a result change, players will be given the opportunity to reallocate secondary attributes. The Piety attribute has been removed from many, many items. I'm going to skip that because, quite frankly, that's a lot. The physical and magical defense of Disciple of War gear that have been equipped by tank classes below level 50 has been increased. In light of this change, selecting recommended gear in the character window as a tank may no longer result in a selection of gear with low item levels depending on what is available in your inventory. That's something they should fix. Players can no longer cast lots on coffers containing multiple gear pieces if they contain a unique item the player already possesses. Okay, so there's going to be less things that will be lost. I like that. The error message that displays when failing to open a chest containing a unique item you already possess has been adjusted. The following changes have been made to belts. Belts can no longer be equipped. The waist tab of the armory has been removed. Belts can no longer be repaired. Materia can no longer be extracted from belts. Materia can no longer be affixed to belts. If possible, remove any materia previously affixed to belts. Belts can no longer be purchased from the shop vendors on the market board. Belts can no longer be put up for sale on the market board. Following adjustments have been made to belts presently for sale on the market board. Belts presently for sale will no longer appear when browsing the market board and cannot be purchased. They will still, however, be in the retainer markets window and must be removed. In the event the gear is being sold via a set of mannequins, any belts included will not be sold and instead remain in the retainer's inventory for removal. Belts can no longer be traded to players. Recipes for belts have been removed from the armor, weaver, leatherworker crafting logs and can no longer be crafted. Belts crafted prior to the release of patch 6.0 will continue to count towards achievements that require the crafting and record completion of unique recipes. In accordance with this change, items yielded when desensitizing belts have been changed. Belts are no longer obtainable for quest rewards. Rewards for certain quests have been changed. Belts can no longer be obtained as rewards via instant dungeons, alliance raids, or high-end raids. The contents of treasure coffers and these duties have been adjusted. Moreover, the item yield and drop rate of certain items have also been adjusted. Belts are no longer obtainable from rewards of treasure hunts. Belts can no longer be obtained rewards from guild leaves. The categories of items have been changed to unobtainable, and their descriptions have been adjusted. It says here, before becoming obsolete due to the advancements in tailoring, belts like this were used to holding up trousers and the like. Belts are no longer required for the completion of any guild leaves. Belts are no longer required for the completion of any supply missions. Belts can no longer be obtained from gear coffers. Now, listen, I love that as a thing. It's just like, everyone's like, you know what? We're done with belts. Nobody needs any belts. They didn't ask the Gunbreakers if they needed any belts. Well, you know, what are they going to do? I guess they're going to have to find something else to be edgy about. But the fact that they are legitimately removing belts makes me a happy person. And then, of course, upon the release of patch 6.0, belts will be removed to the Calamity Salvager under the following circumstances. They are equipped by players or retainers, and they are stored in players' armory. Belts in possession of the Calamity Salvagers will remain unchanged, including any affixed materia. Players can only retrieve belts from the Calamity Salvagers when on their home world. And it literally says, retrieve obsolete belts. I love it. I love it. In accordance with removal of belts, calculations used to determine average item level have been adjusted. In accordance with removal of belts, after the crafting recipes, the following changes have been made to the achievement requirements. My body is a temple. Obtain a set of Templar armor consisting of a Templar's chain coif, Templar's habergon, pair of Templar's solarets, and a set of Templar's tassets. Now it's to a Templar's chain coif, a Templar's habergon, and a pair of Templar's solarets. And then there's a bunch of different ones there. We're just going to bunch of things there. So just keep that in mind. A lot of things are being changed. Speed belt can no longer be obtained from Eureka Pagos. A new item, Blitz Ring, can be attained in its place. In accordance with this change, players can exchange speed belts for Blitz Ring by speaking to the Calamity Salvager. Sundry Splendors, a one-stop shop for gear and items purchased in exchange for elegant tomestones and scripts, has been added to the Crystarium. Wonderful. And of course, it's unlocked after completing the main scenario quest, Shadowbringers. Icons indicating the required currencies have been added to the drop-down menu of the item exchange menu. Perfect. The following adjustments have been made to gear exchanges for Algan Tomestones of Phantasmagoria, Allegory, and Revelation. Gear that required the exchange of base item and upgrade material can now be obtained directly in exchange for Allegan Tomestones of Poetics, so that means your augmented stuff can now just be bought via Poetics, which is fantastic. The base items and upgrade materials for such gear can no longer be obtained from shops, dungeons, or retainer ventures. Players who possess the base item of such gear may upgrade them in exchange for 100 Allegan Tomestones of Poetics. Perfect. So that way you don't have to spend the entire amount, you can just get that. The max amount of crystal sand and umbrite required to complete an animal weapon has been reduced from 80 to 60. Always nice. Those relic weapons are a pain to get. In fact, I should probably get one next expansion. New items have been added to the inventory of Calamity Salvagers. The requirements for purchasing an item from Calamity Salvagers has been adjusted. And here we see a bunch of different things if you want to get. The Lucas, these are relic weapons. The collectible dealer in Mordona at Revenant's Toll has been removed. Oh, so no more collectibles there. The level cap for Disciple of Hand and Land has been increased to level 90. The amount of experience points required to level up Disciple of Hand and Land classes has been adjusted due to the downscaling of values. In accordance with this change, adjustments have been made to the following. Experience points earned when crafting or gathering items. Experience points rewarded for completing duties. Experience points bonuses applied by engineering manuals. And experience points bonus applied by survival manuals. Now, because of the database, it's been overwritten and downscaling the values, any experience points accumulated in levels prior to the release of patch 6.0 will be reset to 0. Keep that in mind. Purple Crafter scripts and Purple Gatherer scripts currencies have been added for the Disciple of Hand and Disciples of Land that are level 90. Players can begin exchanging these collectible items for these scripts at Splendor's exchanges starting at level 90 and have a maximum of 2,000 at any given time. And the following additions and adjustments have been made to crafters and gathering scripts. We have the white scripts, which will still be rewarded. Yellow scripts can be exchanged for white scripts, and red scripts have been removed with the patch of 6.0. Yellow crafter scripts on gatherers will no longer be obtainable from quests and leave quests. Now, yellow crafters and gather scripts can be exchanged for white crafter scripts and gather scripts at the script exchange in Revenant's Toll. Items currently obtained with yellow crafters and gather scripts will be obtainable with white crafter scripts and gather scripts, respectively speaking, with the script exchange, with some exceptions are listed below. Craftable items, they're still synthesized after patch 6.0, and goblin cups and goblin dice. So there we are. The red crafter scripts will have been removed, and the white crafter scripts and gather scripts required exchange has been adjusted. So, simple enough. In order to improve functionality of new script exchange windows, categories have been reorganized into a new interface according to script type at level range, allowing players to more easily specify a desired item exchange. We have new items that have been available. So now we have, before it was Tradecraft Tools, Tradecraft Gear 1 and 2, Tradecraft Items, Fieldcraft Tools, Fieldcraft Gear, Fieldcraft Items, Material Exchange, Token Exchange, and Token Reclamation. They've all been condensed into Tradecraft Items, Fieldcraft Items. Boom. The following adjustments have been made to script tokens. Blue script crafter script tokens are no longer obtainable from Idleshire, so that's something there. Then, of course, we have they can no longer be used for gear changes. Same thing with the Gatherer's token. Flying text will now be displayed when using items or actions that restore CP or GP. It's kind of cool. New action and traits have been added for Disciple of the Hand. The following recipes for gladiator arms and shields have been removed and replaced with recipes to craft them as a set. There's a whole bunch of those, so we're just going to keep those. Let you guys go over there. The following adjustments have been made to the crafting log. Recipes listed under level-based recipe and special recipe tabs are now ordered from highest level to lowest level. An option to add items to your market board favorite list has been added as a subcommand menu for recipe ingredients, and we can see that right there. When viewing the subcommand menu, the number of items added to your market board favorite list will still be displayed. The category under housing and special recipes tab has been adjusted. We have from housing 1 and 2. And we've expanded it out to fixtures, outdoor furnishings, indoor furnishings, tables and rugs, tabletop, wall-mounted, and other. An icon has been added to indicate high-quality versions of material may be used for initial increase to a recipe's quality. So as we can see there, instead of having the claw, we have a little arrow there, so that can actually help out. When the following sky steel tool materials are no longer required to be high quality when exchanging for upgraded tools. There's a whole bunch there. Now, however, high-quality materials may still be used when exchanging upgraded tools. Players above level 80 will receive a maximum of 1,000 XP when submitting items to the House of Splinters or Ishgardian Restoration. And I know why they did that is because they didn't want people to level through the Ishgardian Restoration. They wanted people to get out in the world. So I can understand that. Do I agree with it? It's a little more hands-on than I like. I'd rather they not have that, but what are you going to do? It is now possible to submit collectible fish with a low collectability rating to the House of Splinters. Experience points and scripts rewarded upon completion will be adjusted accordingly. No changes have been made in the scaling rewards based on collectability. Interesting. So I can empty my low quality fish if I decide to do that. The amount and type of crafters and gatherer scripts received from custom deliveries has been adjusted. It is now possible to submit collectible fish with low collectability for custom deliveries. Due to the downscaling of values, the progress and quality values when crafting have been adjusted. In accordance with this change, values including collectability ratings, increases to progress and quality when crafting, and recipe difficulty and maximum quality have all been reduced. Please note, however, these changes will have little to no effect on game balance. Resplendent tool components crafted prior to the release of patch 6.0 have been renamed obsolete resplendent tool components. So hopefully you didn't take too much time crafting them. They, however, may still be used to exchange for upgrade materials while speaking with Limbeth in Yulmore. So, nice. New actions and traits have been added for Disciple of Land. The following adjustments have been made. Attributes for Disciple of Land. It is no longer possible to gather high-quality items. Furthermore, the chance to obtain high-quality items has been replaced with the Gatherer's Boon effect. Triggering the Gatherer's Boon effect increases the item yield by 1. The chance of triggering this effect is determined by your perception rating. Gathering point characteristics that previously increased chance of obtaining high-quality items will now increase the chance of triggering Gatherer's Boon, which I like. So now that instead of having the high quality and having that, you just get more items by gathering. I like this change. Some people might not, but I like the change. The 200% bonus to experience points earned upon gathering high-quality items has been replaced with a 100% bonus to experience points upon triggering the Gatherer's Boon effect. The requirement for a botanist minor eye for quality achievements has been changed from gathering high-quality items to triggering the Gatherer's Boon effect. Furthermore, these achievements have been renamed an eye for quantity. New items with specific perception requirements have been added to gathering points for botanist and miner. That's nice. I like that. The vitality attribute on gatherer gear has been adjusted. The following adjustments have been made to the gathering log. Items listed under the level tab are now ordered from highest to lowest, and the categories under special tab have been adjusted. The following items are no longer available as high quality. Items obtained as gathering or fishing. Items obtained by defeating enemies. Items purchased in exchange for elegant tomestones. Items purchased in exchange for crafter scripts or gatherer scripts. Items obtained via ethereal reduction. Now, craftable items will still be available as high quality. In addition to crafting, they may be obtained via other means, including treasure hunts and desynthesis. High quality items crafted prior to 6.0 will remain unchanged. In accordance with the removal of high quality items from gathering and fishing, the following adjustments have been made. The following quests can now be completed by submitting normal quality items. You have your miner class, your botanist class, your fisher class, facet of gathering, facet of fishing, Namazu beast tribe, and Kitari beast tribe. Now, of course, they can still be completed using high quality items obtained prior to the release of patch 6.0. Bonuses for submission of high quality items have been removed from the following quests. However, the base rewards have been increased. Your facet of gathering quest, your facet of fishing quest, your facet, boy, I can't hardly say that. Fisher Fieldcraft leaves and Grand Company provisioning missions. Fishers can no longer catch high quality fish, will now instead be able to catch large size fish. When catching a large size fish, there's a chance to receive Angler's Art status effect. This effect can be stacked 10 times and can be used to execute various fishing actions. The following actions and in-game features no longer use high-quality fish and will instead use large-sized fish. Fisher Action Mooch requires large fish. Patience and Patience 2 increases the chance of catching large-sized fish. The Fishing Release List now includes a selection of large-sized fish. And the Fisher Achievement, the one that didn't get away, now requires players to catch large-sized fish. Following items and adjustments have been made to high-quality items. High-quality items that can no longer be obtained will now contain the message function. Functions as a normal quality item in their description. So keep that in mind. Your high-quality items can no longer be obtained, cannot be sold by the market board, nor can they be traded to other players. They can no longer be obtained and no longer grant an initial increase to recipe quality when crafting. Though they can no longer be obtained, they may still be submitted for completion of guild leaves and Grand Company supply and provision missions. Please note, however, they will provide no bonuses upon submission. So that 100% bonus, it's been gone, but the initial rewards are increased. The spearfishing system has been overhauled and now involves a minigame wherein players strike the fish as they swim across the screen. With your spearfishing gig kit, use Fathom and Shark Eye to locate teeming waters. As fish swim across your field of vision, strike them using your gig action. Fish, there are weak spots. Fish are caught by striking a weak spot as they swim through teeming waters. Certain fish will have distinctive appearance, indicating they're guaranteed to be large size when caught. Perfect. Wariness. Nearby fish will take notice of your actions in the teeming water. Their wariness, represented by a gauge at the top of the spearfishing interface. Wariness increases slowly over time, as well as each strike of your spear. When the gauge is full, the fish will disperse, ending your spearfishing attempt. Catch counter. Successfully catching fish in quick succession will increase your catch counter up to a maximum of 10, which slows the rate of wariness will increase. Be mindful, however, that the counter may reset should you go too long without catching any fish. To abandon a spearfishing attempt, press the escape key or the quit action. The following adjustments have been made to spearfishing. New teeming waters have been added. In accordance to spearfishing, the category names for fishing records and the method of which fish size is recorded have been adjusted. Fishing records prior to patch 6.0 will not be lost. Spearfishing's specific fish in certain locations may grant players the effect of spearfisher's intuition. And while under this effect, players are able to locate rare species of fish that are otherwise undetectable. AAA logs can now be obtained for certain teeming waters listed in the fishing log. The following adjustments and additions have been made to ocean fishing. When catching large-sized fish, players will receive a 100% point bonus. The Gull Storm effect granted when a flock of seagulls appear has been changed to increase the chance of landing large-sized fish. In accordance with the increased level cap, the rewards granted based on player level have been adjusted. 50 to 89, you get experience points and white gatherer scripts. At level 90, you get white gatherer scripts and purple gatherer scripts. Certain conditions, however, must be met to obtain this reward. The following additions and adjustments have been made to fishing. There are new fishing holes have been added, and S-rank records can now be obtained from certain fishing spots listed in the fishing log. Progress towards fisher's intuition will remain even after logging out, which is nice. The sale price of the following fish bait has been reduced: live shrimp, midge larva, moy-bay shrimp, dessert frog, nightcrawler, silkworm, and marble nymph. New tomes of regional folklore have been added. New miner and botanist gathering points have been added. New items have been added to gathering points. New items that can be used for ethereal reduction have been added. The number of items received from ethereal reduction have been increased. The level cap for desynthesis has been increased from 520 to 580, so keep that in mind. New mounts have been added. I'm looking forward to that. New minions have been added. Oh, look at the little crab. New chocobo barding has been added. That looks really cool, little scholarly stuff. New fashion accessories have been added, and we have systems. A new market board has been added to Old Charlian, which is perfect. Otherwise, you'd have to go back to, well, anywhere else. The following additions and adjustments have been made to retainers. Retainers can now be registered to the Old Charlian market. Retainer level cap has been raised to 90, and retainers can now be assigned the Reaper and Sage jobs. So, to assign Reaper and Sage jobs to retainers, the following requirements must be met. Retainers cannot already be assigned a job, or they must be reset if they are. If your retainer has already been assigned a job, open the retainer menu, select Reset Retainer Class. Please note, our doing so will lower the retainer's level to 1. Retainers must be Disciples of War Magic, level 70 or higher. Players must first unlock the Reaper Sage jobs. Players must possess a copy of Modern Vocation. The amount of experience points required for retainers to gain levels will be reduced in accordance to the downscaling of other in-game values. The amount of experience points rewarded from completing retainer adventures will also be adjusted. And of course, the same database warning, it's going to be overwrit. So if you're not already maxed, you'll lose some experience. The following adjustments have been made to retainers. New objectives have been added to delivery missions and exploration ventures. The number of items obtained upon completion of delivery missions and exploration ventures has been increased. Yes, we love that. New items can now be obtained from quick exploration ventures. The bonus to items received for gathering delivery missions will now be affected by a retainer's perception rating rather than their gathering rating. The required item level for gathering or gathering rating required for delivery missions can now be confirmed before selecting a mission. When selecting items in the delivery missions window for gatherers, the options search for recipes using this material or search for item by gathering method has been added to the subcommand menu, and players can now confirm items not recorded in their gathering log when viewing delivery missions window. The achievements window has been revamped. Moreover, the near completion and recommended tabs have been added. Perfect. Near completion displays all achievements that are near completed. Recommended displays up to 4 achievements that will reward items or titles upon completion. The settings for this tab allow you to filter achievements shown based on rewards received for their completion. New achievements and titles have been added. The following adjustments have been made to teleportation. An option has been added to only use Aetherite tickets when the cost exceeds a specific gil allowance. That is very helpful, because here's the thing. I always get that. At the 999 gil, do you want to use an Aetherite? Yes. Yes, I do. An option to enable confirmation prompts when using Aetherite tickets has been added. The gil cost for using teleport has been adjusted. A map will now display when selecting Aetherite destinations. Always nice. That's a very good upgrade. Maps will not be displayed when accessing the Aethernet in the following areas: the Forbidden Land, Eureka Amos, the Forbidden Land, Eureka Pyros, the Bojan Southern Front, the Firmament, the Forbidden Land, Eureka Pagos, the Forbidden Land, Eureka Hydratros, and Zadnor. The world map has been updated to include the 3 great continents. When viewing the map, players can now toggle between levels, pressing LB and X or L1 and square. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the player search menu. Reaper and Sage have been added to the player search menu, and we can see those icons there. The custom option has been added under location, which is nice. The party list will now display the targets of spells cast by party members. If the target is a party member, their number in the party list will be displayed. If the target is an enemy, their marker on the enemy list will be displayed. Nice. That's pretty cool. I like that. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the Party Finder. Search results will no longer include parties you cannot join due to 1 player per job. Setting enabled. Pure healers and barrier healers can now be specified when recruiting party members. That's very useful for the Sage and the Astrologian. When a party member withdraws from a duty that is about to start, other party members will also receive a notification that a penalty has been incurred upon the player who withdrew. Only party members who have selected commence prior to party members withdrawing will receive this notification. The Aether Compass has been moved to the collection menu. The Aether Compass was registered your hotbar prior to the release of patch 6.0. It has been replaced with a question mark icon. The icon may be safely removed. If you have previously owned but discarded an Aether Compass, a new one will be added to the collection menu automatically. HP bars will now display even when incapacitated. Okay, well, it's empty, so I guess that's that. The Conditional Enhancement category has been added to the HUD layout. From this system, open the HUD layout interface, and after selecting any of the status info categories from the drop-down menu, open the UI Elements Settings menu, then under Layout, select Split Elements into 4 groups. The following additions and adjustments have been made to ground targeting. The cursor speed setting has been changed from 0 to 100 to 0 to 200, so you can move it effectively faster. An option to prevent the cursor from moving beyond the ground targeting range has been added. An option to execute actions by pressing the action button a second time has been added. And a text command to execute ground target actions without entering ground target mode has been added. Good for macros. When submitting or trading items, right-clicking with the mouse or pressing X on the controller will automatically select the high-quality item or collectible item with the highest rating first. Yes! That way you don't have to mouse through things. In accordance with the increased level cap, the conditions that must be met to set your status as new adventurer have been adjusted. Before, have played less than 168 hours, have not completed the main scenario quest, A Requiem for Heroes. Now, have played less than 300 hours, have not completed the main scenario quest, Death Until Dawn. Players who fill either of the above requirements may set their status to new adventurer. Players who no longer have the new adventure status but fill the above requirements can restore it by using the text command /NA status on. The bonus to experience points when a mentor forms a party with a new adventurer or returner will apply now until level 80. In accordance with the increased level cap, the requirements for new mentors have been adjusted as follows. Before, you must have completed level 80 tank role quest, healer role quest, one of the DPS role quests, have 1,000 dungeon trials, and at least 1,500 commendations. Now it's the level 90 tank role quest, the level 90 healer role quest, the at least one of level 90 melee DPS, physical DPS, magical range DPS, must have 1,000 completed dungeon trials, and at least 1,500 player commendations. And of course, we have the land in hand. I'll go from there. Players who are currently mentors must renew their certification during the 6.0 patches. Players who fail to do so will be unable to access certain features during this period. Once the renewal period has ended, players who have not renewed their certification will lose their mentor status and must wait until after patch 6.1 to apply for recertification. Available during the renewal period, the Novice Network chat channel, mentor party bonuses. Unavailable during the renewal period, duty roulette mentor, and the ability to change online status from PvE mentor, PvP mentor, and trade mentor. New dungeons are available for Explorer mode. So we have the Siren Song Sea, Bardam's Metal, Castrum Abania, Shui of the Violet Tides, and Doma Castle. In addition, instance dungeons introduced in patch 6.0 will be added. The following changes have been made to group pose. Can now be initiated while using performance actions, which is nice. Can now be initiated while undertaking a duty as an NPC ally or when transformed into any enemy NPC. New frames have been added. New stickers have been added. NPC that accompany you in certain quests, patch 6.0, can be set as targets. Nice. Duties that can be recorded via the duty recorder have been changed. The Puppet's Bunker and Eden's Promise Attorney Savage. After will now be the Tower at Paradigm's Breach and 2 question mark dungeons. 2 trials introduced in patch 6.0 will also be available. When selecting items being sold by your retainer, the items search for item by crafting method and search for item by gathering method have been added to the subcommand menu. When unlocking active help entries, a link to the active help window will appear in the chat log. The error message displayed when failing to send a /tail to a player on another world who has not registered you as a friend has been adjusted. Players can now disable resizing of chat log window via mouse drag. Disable resizing. Uncheck resizing of log window under General tab of log window settings in the character configuration menu. In order to reduce server congestion upon release of patch 6.0, the following measures will be implemented temporarily. We will continue to monitor server activity and remove those features when the server congestion is determined to no longer be an issue. Players who are inactive for 30 minutes will be logged out automatically. New areas will be split into multiple instances. Particular instances can be selected when entering a neighboring area or teleporting via Aetherite. Players using the PlayStation 5 DualSense wireless controller or PlayStation 4 DualShock 4 wireless controller can now be used on the Windows version, DirectX 11 only. You can make use of these features. Simple enough, I'm not going to go into that. Support for Embody's immerse spatial audio has been added for DirectX only. This does require the purchase of a license of Embody and installation of their game pack, so keep that in mind. Additions have made to the system configuration, Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. You have your sound settings for the immerse spatial audio. Following options have been added to the character configuration. You have your HUD tab. You have your battle effects for PvE opponents. Your target tab for the ground targeting, limit ring movements, and press action twice to execute. Your log window. You can enable the resizing of log window. Additions and adjustments have been made to text commands. And there's a whole bunch of things there you can read over if you really want to, which can be helpful. The enemy NPC has been added as a subcommand for the /battle effect text command, allowing players to target the effects on enemy combatants in PvP. The GT off command is a placeholder for text commands, allowing them to bypass ground targeting mode and be executed immediately. The /system sound speaker text command for wireless control sound settings can now be used in Windows version. And the in-game text command list as /? Text command will no longer show information for the emotes that you have not yet unlocked. Additions have been made for the auto translation dictionary. Additions have been made to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 autocomplete dictionary. New trophies have been added for PlayStation 5. Sound engine has been improved to a more easily discern sound effects when a large group of players are present. New music and sound effects and voices have been added. In preparation for the Oceanic data server, the data center selection screen has been adjusted. When the UI resolution settings is set to high, title and character selection screens will also use high resolution fonts. The following additions have been and adjustments have been made to the game launcher. The design has been changed. The design has been changed. Theme settings have been added, and an option to restore game data has been added for the Windows version. The title screen logo and opening movie have been changed to those of Endwalker, and the Reaper and Sage have been added to solo rankings on Palace Dead and Heaven on High. Okay, guys. Woo! That's a lot of patch notes. Let me tell you, that's a lot of patch notes. If you're still watching this at this point, thanks for hanging out. I want to take the time right now to say, guys, thank you for watching this. There's a lot to go through with Endwalker, so don't worry if you didn't get it all. You have a couple of years to get it. Everything will change. We got this. It's not a problem. Now, I do want to say, if you like what I do, or you like what the channel does in specific, go on and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell in order to stay up to date with everything that happens. I've been told I should plug this more. I stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this Friday, we're going to be doing a 24-hour stream for Endwalker, so keep that in mind. And you can find that at twitch.tv/Nimicry. Saturday is usually a wildcard stream where we don't do MMORPG stuff. Finally, you can also connect with me on Twitter at Nimicry, if that's something that you're into. You can do that. I try to answer as best I can. And for those who go above and beyond the Call of Duty, there is the Patreon, patreon.com/Nimicry. Patreon is a service that allows small creators like myself to profit off videos through audience support. It helps me make longer videos and more lore videos as well. So if that's something you're interested in or something you wish to support, you can go to patreon.com/Nimicry. Lastly, there will be a list of patrons scrolling across the screen right now. Those people support me, and I appreciate it a great deal. Thank them as well. This was a long video. A lot of patch notes, a lot of information went by, so feel free to listen to it again if you'd like to. And I want to say, it was fun making this video, and may the mount that you're farming drop on the first kill. Take care, and I'll see you in Endwalker. Bye.